Hey everyone, Rich Gasaway here. In celebration of National Situational Awareness Day last Tuesday, I hosted my first ever virtual live training event, followed by a live Q&A session. It was an amazing class. We had a great turnout and some really good discussions at the end about the challenges workers face while operating in high-risk, high-consequence environments. I was really impressed and encouraged by the turnout. In case you missed it, let me share with you what we did. I conducted a class live on the internet to explain what situational awareness is and broke it down into processes for how to develop and maintain situational awareness. Then I shared some best practices for how to deal with situational awareness issues while working in high-risk, high-consequence environments. When that was done, I opened the floor for questions, and the participants asked questions, and I vowed to stay until the end, and all the questions were asked and answered. The cool thing was, even the students stayed, which showed me there is a lot of interest in this subject. And they asked some really, really good questions. We even discussed some topics that were not covered in the training. It was nice to take a deeper dive at the end. Questions and dialogue with attendees is some of my favorite parts of live presentations. Will I do it again? I'm not sure. I have to give some thought to how to use this platform of the internet to reach more people. So one thing the event did was give me some nice feedback that the participants liked the live interaction with me, and I was encouraged by that. I just have to figure out how to provide the live programs across so many time zones. I'll get to working on it, and I'll announce some solution here soon, so stick with me on that. Okay, that's enough of the pre-show stuff. Roll that podcast intro. Today's episode is sponsored by Midwest Fire. For more than 20 years, Midwest Fire has been manufacturing high-quality tankers, tanker pumpers, and fire rescue vehicles in the United States and Canada. Keeping firefighters safe while enhancing their capabilities is what they do best. To learn more, go to MidwestFire.com.
This is Captain Jason Nesbitt from the County of Grand Prairie Regional Fire Service, and you are listening to the SA Matters radio show with Dr. Richard Gasaway. The SA Matters mission is simple. They want to help us see the bad things coming in time to avoid bad outcomes.
Hello, and welcome to episode 180 of the Situational Awareness Matters radio show. I'm your host, Rich Gasaway. The purpose of this show is to improve situational awareness and decision-making for individuals and teams who work in high-risk, high-consequence, time-compressed environments with changing conditions. The SA Matters mission is simple: to help you see the bad things coming and time to avoid bad outcomes. Did you know that I've been sharing this message of situational awareness and high-risk decision-making in live program events for 12 years now, and have trained just over 59,000 students that include first responders, industrial workers, military personnel, business leaders, medical professionals, utility workers, aviation workers, and so many more domains. Really, this message is for anyone who works in an environment that is high risk and high consequence. If you or someone you know could benefit from training on situational awareness and high-risk decision-making, ask them to reach out to me by visiting the SA Matters website and clicking on the Contact Us tab. Hey, if you're new to this podcast, you got some homework to do. You do, really, by going back and listening to some of the past episodes. I've released a new episode every Tuesday, never missed a week for more than 3 years now. There's no other podcast focused on improving your safety that has this kind of track record. And I do it for you, the listener. You inspire me. And let me say this, I'm here for the long run, For so long as I'm able, I'll continue to share this message. A message of hope, a message of inspiration, and a message of encouragement for everyone who works in high-risk environments. I want to make sure you know how to develop and maintain your situational awareness, and you know how to make quality decisions when you're in high-risk situations. I'm dedicated to improving your safety and your survival, and to helping you accomplish the most important goal of all. And it truly is the most important goal. Go home to the ones who love you. I'm coming to you today from beautiful Sydney, Australia, just up the street from the Sydney Opera House, where I'm in town delivering a full-day situational awareness event for first responders, business, and industry. This is the first stop in a month-long international tour, and I'll announce all those locations a little bit later on. A few weeks ago, I did a program in Evansville, Indiana, and Fire Chief Mike Conley did an amazing job of getting sponsors for this event. From Chief Conley's effort, the 2-day training event for his department cost them nothing, $0. They did it all with sponsorships. I tell departments all the time how to host great training events using sponsors. Usually I get looked at with skepticism, but not in Chief Conley's case. He said to me, "Show me how to do it," and I showed him how. And then he went out and he asked for sponsors, and he told me it wasn't hard to find companies that wanted to step up and offer assistance. Sponsors for the Evansville program included Vectron, that is the gas and electric utility serving Evansville and other regions of Indiana. Gas and electric companies are great sponsors of situational awareness training because they can send their employees to the training as well. Indeed, situational awareness is vitally important for those who work in gas and electric fields. Deaconess Hospital stepped up as a sponsor. Hospitals are also great sponsors because they get to send their hospital employees to the training as well. Situational awareness is vitally important for medical professionals too. The University of Southern Indiana stepped up as a sponsor. Universities are great sponsors. They love to partner with their communities. And the university got to send some of their security personnel to the training. Situational awareness is important for campus safety and security personnel too. You see how this works? Other sponsors included Evansville Firefighters Credit Union, Old National Bank, Global Emergency Products, Hoosier Fire Equipment, Mission Barbecue, Public Safety Medical, and Siegel's Uniform. When the dust settled on all of this, Chief Conley was able to raise, are you ready for this? $15,000 in sponsorships. That paid for the program, a situational awareness book for every attendee, paid for the venue, and paid to provide lunch for all the attendees for both days. And because all of that didn't total $15,000, he now has seed money for a future program. I tell departments with limited budgets all the time this is the way to go. And it is. If you want to host a program but you have limited resources, contact me. And I'll help you do what Evansville did. Host a program that costs your department nothing. I always say where the will is strong, a way can be found. And folks, this training on situational awareness and high-risk decision-making, it's a game changer. How do I know? Attendees at live events tell me all the time. They tell me on break. They tell me at lunch. They tell me at the end of the day. They send me emails. They post it on my social media. They post it on their social media. Understanding how to develop and maintain situational awareness while working in high-risk environments can truly, and I mean truly, save your life. There's no simpler way to say it. One of the questions I get asked all the time by readers of the blog and listeners to the podcast are, when are you coming to my area? I want to attend a program. Or where are you going to be next? Great questions, and I've made it really easy to find out the answer. I've created a link on my homepage for my website called Upcoming Events. It's the blue box on the right side of the homepage. If you go to samatters.com, you can go there right now. Bring it up. There you go. Now look over on the right-hand side there. You see that blue box? There's 3 boxes. There's a green box, a blue box, and a red box. It's the blue one in the middle. It says upcoming event schedule. Click on it. Go ahead. Click on it. Yep, and there's the list of all my upcoming events. See how easy that is? Here's something else. If you want to save some money on hosting a program, seriously, who doesn't want to save some money, right? You can host a program at a reduced cost by being a companion. A companion program is a program on an adjoining day to another program. So if you see I'm delivering a program within a couple hours of you, scroll down that list. See if there's anything within a few hours of you. Yep, scroll. Yep, see how you do that? If you find one within a couple hours, if you contact me, you can save as much as 20% off of being a companion to an existing program. I've done over 100 companions. No one's ever complained about saving money. That's win-win. They're getting good training and saving money. Okay, in today's feature segment, I'm going to explore the role of accountability and how that helps in developing and maintaining situational awareness. And when I'm done with the feature segment, stick around and I'll tell you where you can attend one of the upcoming Situational Awareness Matters tour stops, including this massive international tour that I'm on now that starts with where I am right now in my hotel room in Sydney, Australia. Who knows? Maybe I'm going to be near you in your state, in your county, in the next town over, and we can come and attend a program, come say hello, or be a companion. It really is that simple. Accountability. Accountability is a critically important component to the safety of employees when they're operating in hazardous environments. From the perspective of situational awareness, accountability plays several critical roles. The obvious role is personnel accountability facilitates the rapid deployment of teams if something would go wrong. The person in charge knows the team sizes, where the teams are operating, and where they can send help expeditiously. Additionally, accountability plays a second role that is critically important in the development and maintenance of situational awareness, and that is being able to predict the future. The highest level of situational awareness, projection, is having the ability to accurately determine what is going to happen as a situation plays out. Essential to this skill is knowing team sizes, each team's location, and the task assignments for each team. The teams performing the task to resolve a situation are the proverbial actors in a movie in the mind of the person who is in charge. It's a movie that is looking at the future of the event. The goal when looking into the future is simple. See the bad things coming in time to avoid bad outcomes. But how should a person in charge, or the person in charge of accountability, track the movement of individuals and teams to ensure the accuracy of the information? That is the topic to be addressed in this episode. Name calling. Assuming you're using radios to communicate with team members, how should these team members be addressed over a radio? There are essentially 4 options that you can use. The first is a personal identifier, having the employee use their employee number or the employee's last name. Vehicle assignment, using the vehicle number assigned to the employee or to the employee's team. Geographic location, using the geographic location of the individual or the team. Or the primary task assignment, assigning a name to the task the individual or the team is performing and then calling them by that task name. The goal is to ensure that if something goes wrong, the team size, team location, and team task can easily be identified. There are, without a doubt, both advantages and disadvantages to any identification nomenclature. Ease of recall under stress. When I look at matters like this, admittedly, my view is from one of cognitive neuroscience, and sometimes this can run counter to industry standards. Until brain scientists and safety personnel collaborate on the design of standard policies and practices, we'll just have to be content with understanding that what may be determined to be best by one individual or company may not be embraced by another. Such is the messiness that we face in life. Operating in high-risk environments can be very stressful. This stress impacts a person's ability to capture, store, and recall information. This fact becomes critically important as you consider the cognitive effort required to maintain accountability of individuals and teams in high-risk environments. The goal is for the information about the team size, team location, and team task to be readily accessible, both in the event of an unexpected incident and for the purpose of being able to predict future outcomes based on what the teams are doing. Ease of information storing and recall is the objective. If things go bad, there may not be time to do a lot of information sorting and reconstruction. The accountability records, be they in writing or simply from memory, should be crisp, clear, and easy to comprehend and recall. You hear with the visual processor in your brain. When information is shared audibly, the receiver of that information forms visual images in their mind to aid in the comprehension of that information. For example, a team operating in a high-risk environment may relay information about the situation to their superiors. Those on the receiving end of the information then form vivid, visual imagery in their mind of the conditions the team is facing and reporting. Call it like you see it. In the spirit of sharing the brain science that explains how we comprehend what we hear, I offer this recommendation. Identify teams in a way that when they contact you, everyone who is listening will know that team is making the contact and what the team is doing and where the team is located. If a supervisor only has a few teams working on a situation, what each team calls themselves may be inconsequential because they'll be easy to track. However, as situations grow in complexity, the ability to remember what each team member's assignment is, using only the name of the team leader, could become quite challenging. Supervisors have it easy. When it comes to maintaining information, a supervisor who is properly located, meaning away from the sharp end of the decision environment, may be in the best position to keep track of progress in issues. Using a worksheet to write things down can be a tremendous asset for keeping track of teams, team progress, and problems. Team size, team location, and team assignments can readily be tracked. But what about all the other teams who are working to resolve the issue? Teams on the sharp end of high-risk decisions are often in far more complex and confusing environments, and their ability to keep track of who's where, what they're doing, can be far more challenging, yet none the less important. When operating in a problem-solving environment, there are essentially three types of situational awarenesses to be developed. The first is personal situational awareness, a team member's awareness of his or her own knowledge, skills, abilities, and surroundings. The second is team situational awareness, the shared awareness of team members about their collective knowledge, skills, and abilities, and what is happening in their collective surroundings. The third is the big picture situational awareness, a holistic awareness of the big picture and how the actions of all the teams are complementing or impacting the performance of each other toward the completion of the overall strategic objectives. Using an example of a problem situation in the work environment, an employee would have personal situational awareness as to the clues and cues about his or her own environment, including information about their own personal safety. The team would also develop another level of situational awareness that ensures they are on the same page tactically, that they have made similar assessments about the situation, ensuring that they have collaborated on goals and they are supporting each other. In other words, behaving as a team versus a group of individuals. The big picture situational awareness is developed from understanding how individual and team performance impacts the overall situation's strategy and objectives, with a keen awareness of the impact and consequences of failure and success. I share these because each individual and team needs to be as aware of what others are doing as they are aware of their own role. With this in mind, put yourself in the role of a supervisor, working with your team in a high-risk, high-stress situation. You, the supervisor, must try to keep track of who's who and what they are doing. That task might be made easier if you use some commonly understood identifiers, like a personal identifier like the employee's number or their last name, a vehicle identifier like the vehicle number assigned to the employee or the team, the geographic identifier using the geographic location of the individual or the team, or the primary task identifier, assigning the name of a task to an individual team to be performed and calling them by that task name. If you were deep into a complex situation and there was a considerable amount of incoming information, using common identifiers or labels can make it easier for you to identify with the person who is calling you on a radio, what they're doing, what their goals are, and how they're supporting the big picture. The gold standard. Is there a way to bring resolution to this issue that may address the concerns and needs of everyone? Perhaps there is. What if for each team assigned, they actually used multiple identifiers for each communication with their supervisor? Granted, for this system to work, there needs to be an element of communications discipline that, quite frankly, is missing in many organizations. This is unfortunate on many levels because flawed communications is often a significant finding in near-miss and casualty reports. What would the communication sound like if multiple identifiers were used? Here's a couple of examples. A team identifier plus the team size plus the team location plus an update report, all put together. Or a personal identifier plus the team size plus the team location plus an update report, all put together. TMI. One of the criticisms I sometimes receive when I make this recommendation is the solution creates too much radio traffic, or too much information, TMI. I was recently told this while having a conversation with a supervisor following my review of a radio tape of an incident where things did not go well. The radio traffic in the situation could serve as the poster child for communications gone bad. It was horribly confusing and horrendously difficult to track, and I was listening to it with headphones on in a conference room. When a team got into trouble, the supervisor didn't have any idea of the team size, team location, or their assigned task. The supervisor quickly became overwhelmed. Other teams then started chiming in, asking for information about the size and location of the team that was in trouble. The situation quickly spiraled out of control because of a Hail Mary effort to develop a collective situational awareness about where everyone was at and what they were doing. Needless to say, it didn't work out well for them, and it rarely works out well for others. Even if the outcome is good, meaning no one gets hurt, the potential for catastrophe is tremendous. The issue is important, and it's not one that gets discussed often enough. It is critically important to set up communications policies, procedures, and standard practices that aid in the development and maintenance of situational awareness. You only need to go as far as a review of your past 3 to 5 significant situations to know if your system is tracking, team identification and accountability of all who are working, and if it's working well. If it's not working well, now is the time to fix it. Hey, you, out there in Radio Land, yeah, I'm talking to you. If you've experienced or witnessed a near miss on the job and would like to have a platform to share your lessons learned with others, contact me by visiting the samatters.com website and clicking on the Contact Us link on the top of the homepage. Think about it. The lessons learned from your worksite near miss could save someone else's life. That's really powerful. If you want to share your experience, contact me. If you want to send me feedback, I'd love to hear from you. Just visit the SA Matters website, click the Contact Us tab. That'll shoot me an email. Or you can send me a message on Facebook or on Twitter or on LinkedIn. I'm on all the channels. Just do a search, you'll find me. Okay, as I always do, I want to take a moment to thank the departments and companies and organizations and agencies that have hosted some great training for their employees on situational awareness. I do this to show my appreciation to those who put forth the effort to organize and advertise and fund great training experiences for their employees. Recent tour stops included the NASA Glenn Research Center in Cleveland, the Tennessee Safety and Health Conference in Nashville, and I also did programs in Evansville, Indiana, Redmond, Washington, Lexington County, South Carolina, Chesapeake, Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, Topeka, Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, Davis, California, Dallas, Texas, and where I am now, Sydney, Australia. The rest of the international tour looks like this. Tomorrow, October 4, I'll be in Melbourne, Australia. Then October 5 and 6 in Perth, Australia. When I come to you next week on my podcast, I will be in Christchurch, New Zealand. And then on October 10th, Wellington, New Zealand. October 11 and 12, Auckland, New Zealand. And then when I come to you the next week after that, I will be in Amsterdam, Netherlands. October 16, 17, and 18 in Amsterdam. And finally, the last week of October for the podcast, I'll be coming to you from Antwerp, Belgium on October 23, 24, and 25 programs in Antwerp. And all that'll be 14 programs and 77 flight hours in the month of October. And it's not the number of programs that I'm worried about. It's the number of time zones that I'm going to have to be traversing. Oofta. I don't know how I'm going to hold up in that process. Anyhow, November 2nd, I'll be in Billings, Montana, doing a program for Phillips 66 Refinery. November 4th, Madison, Wisconsin. November 9 through 12, Clearwater Beach, Florida. November 16th, back in Billings, Montana, for a program for Phillips 66. November 20th in Boston, Massachusetts. That thing in October, man, that's the craziest SA Matters tour event I've ever orchestrated. If you want to see all the locations of all the upcoming Situational Awareness Matters tour stops, just head over to the SA Matters website, click on that blue box on the right side of the homepage saying labeled Upcoming Event Schedule. It's always changing, so check back often. If you're interested in hosting a Situational Awareness Matters tour stop event for your company or your industry or your association or your department, there's a few dates left in November or December. And I'm actively booking 2018 programs now. So if you want to get hooked up with me, samatters.com, Contact Us tab. My staff will take care of you. They'll make the process really easy, I promise. The last time I delivered programs in Southwest Minnesota, I stopped by and visited with my sponsor of this podcast show, Midwest Fire. Midwest Fire is a fire truck manufacturing company that makes amazing all-poly-bodied fire apparatus, and it's changing the industry. If you've not checked them out, you need to. Just go to MidwestFire.com. That's MidwestFire.com. Anyhow, while I was there, I got a chance to sit down and talk to some of their employees about what separates Midwest Fire from their competitors. Let's listen into a conversation that I had with account executive Dalton Lingbeck about custom-built versus stock-built fire apparatus and inventory, and how to start the process of designing and building your own fire truck. All right, Dalton, do you guys do you do custom builds, or do you do stock builds, or do you do both? Do you maintain an inventory of trucks that people can just, buy today and have delivered tomorrow? How does all that work?
Well, we actually do both, and as much as we can keep stock trucks on hand, we have an inventory, but that's the hard part. We do a lot of custom trucks every year. It's what we do. I mean, we are here to build what the department needs. But we also do stock trucks because a lot of people are in immediate need of a truck. We do stock 3000s, we do stock 2000s, we do stock brush trucks. It really depends on what has gone out the door. We try to slot out 2 production spots a quarter for stock units. And on our website, you'll see stock units on our website. You'll see descriptions for them. You'll see specs, but they're not necessarily always in stock. There are standard builds, quote unquote. So the best thing for you to do is if you're in need of a truck sooner than later, don't hesitate and call us up and see what we have on hand. Because right now, I'm looking out the window into our showroom, and we have a stock 3000 sitting there right now. It's ready to go whenever, whoever needs it.
Yeah, Dalton, you just threw a question into my mind. And if somebody is, thinking at some point they're going to need a fire truck, how far in advance of needing a fire truck should somebody at least start to make an inquiry and start to have a conversation and establish a rapport and relationship? I'm guessing it's something short of waking up today and saying we need a truck tomorrow, but putting some thought in the process of what would we want our new truck to have and whether they have a committee or not. How far you have a lot of dealings with a lot of customers, and I'm sure you see ones that really have it together and ones that are struggling and challenged. How far out for those ones that you would call the success stories? How far out before they actually get to a purchase does this dance or this process begin of working with somebody who can help them through the process?
Well, if I understand your question correctly, we're going to kind of not include the people that need an apparatus immediately.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Most success stories, honestly, are 6 months and more. You really want to get an idea of what truck you need and what truck you guys are going to spec out. The specking out process is the hardest part because you're talking with a lot of people trying to get ideas on the paper, and that's what we are here for. We're here to talk about that. But the cool thing about with us is obviously, like I said in a previous question, is that we are direct communication, right? We're directly at the facility. So any questions, all questions that we can answer are going to be answered no matter what. But what you want to do is you want to get specs on the paper, you want to go through those specs, and you want to make sure everything is accurate, because the worst thing that can happen is for a truck to be incomplete or wrong when you take delivery of it. That's what we try to make sure does not happen. So like I said, try to prepare as long as you can beforehand. Obviously there are situations where it can build up a couple weeks, and here we go. We try to make it as easy as possible for you, try to make it as comfortable as possible for you. But yeah, I mean, prepare.
Oh, there you go. If you're thinking about buying a truck, don't wake up on Monday and say we need to buy a truck on Tuesday. Put some thought into it. Reach out to Midwest Fire. Have some conversations and start to get some ideas flowing. As you heard from Dalton, the best success stories are those that start about 6 months before they're going to actually buy the truck, of just gathering thoughts and ideas and trying to see what's available and what's best for them. So check them out, MidwestFire.com. Thank you, Midwest Fire President Sarah Atchison and all of your staff for your awesome commitment for improving the safety of first responders. I really appreciate your support of my mission. Hey, if you're not part of the SA Matters community of learners yet, what are you waiting on? There are over 9,000 people connected here on SA Matters, sharing ideas about how to improve situational awareness, how to make better decisions under stress, and how to train employees to be critical thinkers and resilient problem solvers. Membership is free, and joining gets you my monthly newsletter that contains featured content from the blog and the podcast. It really is the best way for us to stay in touch with each other. The easiest way for you to join is to text SA Matters to 22828. That's the letter S and the letter A and the word matters, SA Matters, all together, one word, SA Matters to 22828. You'll get a message back from me about getting access to my program handout. That's because I use this when a program is done to give people the access to the handout. So you'll get the handout, and that'll be kind of like your bonus for signing up for the membership. And then we'll be connected. If you want to get connected on Twitter, you can follow at Rich Gasaway on Twitter. If you want to get connected on LinkedIn, you can search for Rich Gasaway on LinkedIn. And if you want to watch my videos, you can go to the SA Matters TV YouTube channel. At SA Matters TV, all one word, on YouTube. You can also get connected on Facebook by liking the SA Matters Facebook page. Well, that's it. Episode 180 is complete. Thank you to our awesome podcast sponsor, Midwest Fire. Thank you to all the companies and agencies and organizations that have hosted live events. Thank you to our more than 800 online academy students. And most importantly, thank you, the listeners of this podcast show, for sharing some of your valuable time with me today. I really appreciate your support of the SA Matters mission. Be safe out there, and may the peace of the Lord and strong situational awareness be with you always.
You've been listening to the Situational Awareness Matters radio show with Dr. Richard B. Gasaway. If you are interested in learning more about situational awareness, human factors, and decision-making under stress, visit samatters.com. If you are interested in booking Dr. Gasaway for an upcoming event, visit his personal website at richgasaway.com.